Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock. This video is for entertainment purposes. Today I would like to talk to you about just finding some deals throughout the market. I have one particular deal that I'm interested in, and I want to share that with you because I think that it's a company that has a lot of forward potential going for it, but it's just getting smacked around along with a lot of the other stocks that are in the market. So the market today, ouch. That's all I gotta say. Just down all over the place. So really, if you're looking to dollar cost average over time, this is time that you experience less exposure to risk because of the reduced prices that we have. And so that increases your ability to capitalize on deals for long positions with these companies as we go forward. So I wanna get right into it. So I'll be honest with you, I always struggle to come up with a good transition here other than to just go on and say, let's get ready to rock. Welcome back. For those of you who are interested, down in the description is the link to my Patreon. You can go over there, check it out. I got my two portfolios over there, my growth portfolio and also my dividend portfolio. Also, I put out a weekly newsletter and a weekly watch list of stocks, and I also have a private Discord that I talk with the Patreons throughout the trading week and throughout the trading day. So if you want to check that out, the link for Patreon is down in the description. Also down there, you'll find a link to WEBULL. By clicking the link, signing up, depositing $100 into WEBULL, into that trading account, you get 2 free stocks. I get 2 free stocks for the referral. That value for you is up to $1,850. So if you do choose that route, good luck to you, best of luck to you, and thank you so much for the support. Moving on from there, if you haven't subscribed already and you'd like to, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way you can see anytime I post videos. Hit the like button, share this with your friends, and help me grow the community that we have going so far. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to expanding it. Let's move it on from there, right into the stocks. Okay, so I was looking through the different stocks and stuff that I like to watch, the different ones that are in my portfolios, and kind of deciding where exactly I wanted to put some of my money today. And one of the places that I settled on was Gore Holdings 6, so GHVI, and they are merging with Matterport. Oh my goodness, words are hard today. I guess it fried after watching all that activity. So Matterport, GHVI and Matterport are doing a SPAC merger, and the importance there is the stock price, and we'll get to that when we get to the charts. We're right down near that $10 level. So really, we don't really get much cheaper than what we're seeing right now. We have like room for maybe a 10% downside for a stock that over the next few years could see some serious upside potential. I think I saw an article from the Motley Fool, and take what you will from that company, but talking about it as, easily doubling within the next 5 years. I really think from this price, we could see a doubling even sooner than that, even if it's only something where there's short-term excitement. Once this downward pressure comes off from these different sell-offs and corrections, as we near that merger date, we could see some more excitement coming to the company. So let me move on. I'll talk to you more about the company soon. But for right now, I really want to get to this article, and they do cover a little bit of what Matterport does. And this one, if you really want to see more in-depth analysis, Meet Kevin does just some really cool stuff talking about this company all the way back from February when the merger was first announced. I know that he's really excited about it, and I know I enjoy watching his show. And I was like, all right, well, I'll give it a look. I'll see what I think. And so far, I haven't done all my research and due diligence, but at the price that it's at right now, under the $11 mark, I was like, I'll throw a couple of bucks at it and, take a shot. And what little I've read so far, I really like what I've read. And so I'm going to keep on researching, but let me just share this with you. So Matterport, talking about leading spatial data company. So what they do is, let me see, right here, and this is the part that we're looking at. Using Matterport to create dimensionally accurate digital twins of buildings to accelerate facility design and management. So when you look at that part, basically they take a 3D camera, they plop it in the middle of a space and hook it up to a smartphone that runs the Matterport app, and it goes ahead and it scans that space, and you get a 4K HDR image that's 360 degrees that you can spin it all around, and it is dimensionally accurate. So when you look at that, you can see, how many feet or meters across something is, depending on what part of the world that you live in, and they're already fairly widespread. So let me move on from there because they do talk more later on about some of the applications and stuff that the software is used for through Matterport. So CRB, a global design and construction provider for biotech and pharmaceutical industries. So they used Matterport, and here's the cool stuff. So significantly reduced the number of engineers required to complete the physical site assessments. So using fewer engineers means lower cost to the company, which can be turned out further to the clients. So by enlisting Matterport, some of that expense will go to them, but it's also expense that's offset because they're not paying the employees to go out and do that. And then also, this is another kicker here because time is money, it also reduced the amount of time required for the assessments. And so this one is just, it's one case. So it says on one recent project, reducing the number of engineers needed from 10 down to 1. So that sort of potential to really facilitate, I think it's groundbreaking in that it can be such a facilitating piece of software that can reduce the amount spent by these companies in order to do these sort of productions. So I highlighted a bit more of this stuff. So more effective design process, comprehensive view of the facility, right here without requiring physical site visits. So if we're talking about business travel, while that's bad for the airlines, it's good for the company because then they don't have to pay those travel expenses. So that's something that we want to pay attention to for Matterport because I think it's important. And then expedited design projects by as much as 3 weeks. So by getting out those deliverables earlier is really good news for the companies who are producing things for their own clients. So for CRB, getting these things up and running, especially because it deals with COVID-19 vaccines and the government's Operation Warp Speed initiative, that 3 weeks is a crucial amount of time, and it can certainly be something that really helps out people who use, or the companies who use Matterport in their business, in their dealings, by getting those deliverables to their clients sooner. It is just, not only does it save time, but it also looks good on the companies themselves. All right, so moving on from there, I didn't highlight this part, but this is just more about what Matterport does. Phenomenal high-resolution digital twins. So they call them doll houses, that basically what you would do is you would see in digital format a 3D rendering of the structure or of the building, whatever it happens to be. And the high resolution is good because then you can really see those details and you can really get a feel for the space. And being that digital twin, they say ideal for technically complex and time-sensitive projects. And we've seen some of this through this PR statement that has come out already. And so right here we have a new industry standard. Matterport is an increasingly valuable solution. And then right here, saving our clients weeks of time and tens of thousands of dollars. So saving the time, saving the money, and really simplifying the process, I really think is where Matterport really comes into strength here. A lot of it really does depend on their ability to continue to hold on to intellectual property. So the patents that they have, I forget how many, it's in their investor presentation. I think that they have at least 40 patents so far on their software to help protect their business from competition that would also try to do the same thing that they're doing. So it also says here about expanding offerings by leveraging Matterport to deliver more complex solutions for ongoing facilities management. So one of the things that's in their investor presentation is being able to use the Matterport design to aid with remote management. So think about being anywhere in the world and being able to manage one of your buildings that is just thousands of miles away from you on a different continent, and you're able to see what exactly is going on throughout that building, not like cameras and spy work or anything like that, but like sprinkler systems, you know, if something gets triggered or something like that, or you need to check the status of them. Those are things that I believe, at least that's what it seems like in the investor presentation, that they would be able to do. And right here, more about the digital twins, I guess I should highlight this line that's right here. So with these digital twins that they have, being able to help the engineer teams to reconfigure and replicate, and then also efficiently and remotely, and then projects during and beyond the pandemic. So not only does this help out during the pandemic for CRB, but they also have implications beyond that. And then the CRO from Matterport, this is his quote that we're talking about here. Talking about the platform being ideal, of course, I hope that he talks well about his own company, about being able to more quickly develop solutions to address even the most complicated design challenges. And then here, this is just a little bit more about what Matterport does. So you can read that, or I guess you can read off if you want to. But the planning, the construction, the operations, documentation, appraisal, marketing. So really, Matterport sees their software not only being good for mapping out these sort of rooms, but then they can also provide other services to companies as well. All right, and one of the SEC filings, this is just something that I wanted to point out, just so maybe it piques your interest to read about this a little bit more. And again, I've already disclosed the fact that I do have a position in Matterport. It's a small position, but it's one that, especially at this price that we have right now. The first little nibble I took was under $13, and I think I took another one when it was under $12, and now that it's under $11, I took a slightly bigger nibble because that risk that we have for these companies is reducing as their prices drop, and Matterport being a SPAC, or GHVI being the SPAC that Matterport would be merging with, we don't really have a whole lot of risk below where we're at right now. There's not a lot more that the market can do to push down that price. So really, the only direction that we can go from here is up should the market recover and should this merger go through and Matterport turn out to be the business that I believe that it is. So in this paragraph that we see right here, Matterport increases engagement with the 3D apartments that we have here, engagement by more than 300% by being able to go onto the website, being able to look around the apartment, drives occupancy by more than 14%. So if you're a landlord and being able to get over 10% more occupancy in your building because you have Matterport's 3D digital twins on your website, this would be, to me, it seems huge, especially for people that would have really big commercial complexes in order to rent out these spaces. There we go. And this is a really cool statement right here. Listings with 3D tours sold for up to 9% higher. So higher sales, excellent. And then also closed up to 31% faster. So that's a faster turnover from being on the market, selling at a higher price, and also closing almost a third faster than before. And it says 90% of them included a Matterport 3D tour. So out of all those 3D tours, the fact that Matterport was the predominant one, this is something that really we'd want to see them just really dive in and really take over the market share as the years go on. All right, so from their presentation, this is their financial summary that we have, and I believe that this was put out in February of this year, around the time that the merger deal was announced between GHVI and Matterport, which again is supposed to take place, the merger itself, at the special meeting in 2021, and I've seen Q2 as being the thing tossed around. So by June or so, there should be that special meeting where the voters, the shareholders can vote for that merger to take place. And as far as I can see, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't happen as long as there is enough of a vote for them to have that merger take place. So if you look, they have subscription revenue, and these are all in millions, by the way, and you can look across time. This $24.5 million from 2019, 2020 estimated 41.7, and then 2021 the estimate 66.1. So they have these subscription fees, and if you check it out, the subscription gross margin percent that they have, 82% gross margin on those subscription fees, which is awesome. Still a relatively high margin that we have here, not necessarily against its peers, but if you look across time, it looks like we're approaching that 80% mark with the total gross margin percentages that we have through 2025. So the revenue, if you look at total revenue, only about 46 million so far, but by the time we get to the end of 2024, so the beginning of 2025, we're already up to $500 million at what they project to be 70.4% gross margin. And then also what we're interested in is their ability to become profitable. So when you look at that, if you look at their operating income that they have, a loss right here in 2019 of $31 million, and then almost $11 million expected in 2020, and then it really spikes up for these 3 years in the middle, and then finally by the time we get to 2024, that's when Matterport expects to really hit that profitability. So these are projections, and you can really see how that plays out over time. And if you read through the summary, there's a lot of numbers to look at here, but as you're looking through those numbers, I mean, they're going to make their best case here. They're going to want to seem extra shiny when you look at this. Here's some of the investment highlights with a huge total addressable market, or TAM, that they're going for. and it says massive and unpenetrated. So getting into that and checking out those 20 billion spaces globally by being able to map those out and get that subscription revenue coming through, and then also the other revenue streams that they have, get those pumping. This is one that over time could just be a monster as they get market adoption. And then also, this is one that I'm interested in right here, is that it says unrivaled software and data platform with significant expansion opportunities. Really, that expansion is the thing that we would be looking for, like really pushing those services, especially subscription service-wise, if they can really expand into that and really grow that part of it, especially at an 80% margin. That would be something I think would be huge for them going forward. So this one just showing their valuation against other companies that are considered to be their peers. So you see we have the high growth software as a service, data analytics, vertical software as a service, and then the mature software. And you can see we want these valuations to come in low right now to give it time to grow in order to catch up to those companies. And if you go in and take a look at the revenue growth that they're anticipating, 65% revenue growth from Matterport compared to the averages from their peers that we're looking here, and then also in 2023 the revenue growth that they're projecting 60%, just smushing those other more established or bigger companies that they would have. Gross margin wise, you can see they're reporting about 60% for 2022 as a projection, but they're quick to point out that their subscription gross margin is at 80%, at least what they project it to still be around there. And then also in 2023 gross margin, they're like, hey, subscription 80%, but we get more of a gross margin growth here up to 65%. So look through this, see what you think about it. I think that it's a company that has a lot of promise. I don't have a price target on it yet. It's one that I still need to read about. I've only skimmed through this, so you guys can take a look, see what you think about it, and if it's a company that you like and you'd like to take a position, well, then by all means go for it. If you look at it and you decide that it's not for you, well, then it's not for you. I guess you're on to looking for other opportunities. All right, so here's the daily chart for GHVI, and you can see that the merger got announced and it ripped upwards, peaked at about $28 per share, and then sold off with everything else from February up until today's date even. Terrible markets that we had, $10.89 for the close, and if we look intraday, it looks like we're still around the same price, $10.82. And the thing is about SPACs is that they can trade below $10, but they don't often trade too much below $10 if they're even going to. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking at this as an investment opportunity and the risk that you assume when you invest in a company that is part of a SPAC like this. So let me summarize. GHVI, which will after the merger be MTTR, after that deal goes through somewhere around probably the end of Q2, I think is what's planned right now. That there's nothing official about that yet, so that could easily change right now. If you look at the SEC filings, you have a dot and then comma 2021, and that dot is the placeholder for whatever month, whatever day of 2021, whenever this special meeting, and that's in quotes, the special meeting happens where the shareholders can vote whether or not they want the merger to go through. I'm anticipating that it's going to go through. I don't see why not. So make up your mind. Decide what you want to do. If this is the first that is being brought to your attention, excellent. And I think that you'll at least enjoy reading about them, because I think it's a really cool sounding company, even if you don't decide to invest in them. But for me, I'm okay with a slightly larger position, especially at this price that we have now. That dollar cost average coming down really reduces my exposure to risk in this company going forward. And after, if we get a huge run up, I don't know if we will see that sort of excitement in the environment right now, in the trading environment. I just don't know that it'll happen. I think a lot of the excitement could be muted a lot if we continue to see the sell-offs and the inflation fears and all the downward pressure. I'm hoping that by the end of June we see a little bit more light at the end of the tunnel, or that we're already experiencing some of that lifting back off of the markets, and that we come off of some of these lows that we have now. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep picking through, and I'm going to look for these opportunities because when the market's in the trash, I'm just going to go dumpster diving. So if you want to join me in the dumpster, we can bathe in all the money later. Once that strength comes back to our high conviction plays. I better let you go for now. I really appreciate you stopping by. It's been a real pleasure. If you want to check out my Patreon, that link is down in the description. Also down in the description is that link to WEBULL. So sign up, deposit your $100, get your 2 free stocks. Subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to have you. Hit the notification bell, like button, and share it with your friends. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and due diligence. Contact a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.